You can't control other people, so you need to let it go. This is something I wanted to talk about because as you learn how to let go of the expectations that you place on other people, you can get through life a lot more stress free because you're taking the world by reality. And that's one thing that we have to do more often in order for life not to get you down, for you to not be so upset and have your day ruined by other people's actions. You simply have to start by understanding you never control someone else's actions anyway. Let go of the idea that you even had any control over certain situations. This is how you get closer to happiness with dealing with situations in life. There are going to be stressful situations. There will be situations where people will do things to you, or you will see people take actions and make decisions that you don't agree with. And the only way that you really get through a lot of this is understanding that a lot of times you may have some type of influence over their decision, but you ultimately do not make decisions for other people. They have their own brain, their own mind, their own life, their own motives, and people are always going to make decisions based on what's best for them. And that's not a bad thing because technically you do the same thing also. And once you get over the fact that, oh man, this person did me wrong and I'm owed this by this person, that's actually not true. You feel entitled to stuff, that's actually hurting you more by feeling entitled. You really should not expect too much from other people. And only time you do it is obviously when there's kind of an agreement on something. But most situations, we don't really have any formal verbal agreements with people on how our relationship should work. The only time you have those types of agreements are usually like maybe in a marriage, sometimes in boyfriend girlfriend relationships, but not usually. But definitely in a marriage, sometimes there are specific agreements you have, or even when you're working a job. When you work a job, there's a sort of agreement that you will clock in and come to work on certain days and certain times. So then if someone does not fulfill their agreement, then you have a right to be a little upset. But really, instead of being upset, you have to understand you just have to take an action based on the other person's action. Not so much that you just have to be upset. There will be situations that will hurt you when people do not fulfill your expectations, but I would challenge you to try to release the expectations on people a little bit more. A little bit more. Even like, so I have friends, and really, I don't really expect my friends to do anything for me, to be honest. And this is where people get upset because they will say, well, what if I broke down? I would expect one of my friends to come answer the phone and come help me out if I broke down. Realistically, they could be doing something in their own life. And it's not that they don't care about me, but realistically, everybody's life matters to them more than other people's lives. And you got to be realistic. I would not get mad if I broke down and one of my friends could not come help me or no one answered the phone or whatever. Even if they had something going on and they chose not to help me over doing something else in their own life. Realistically, you have to understand that their actions and their motives and their what they see the world as is going to be different from you. And if it's the same thing in your intimate relationships, a lot of people struggle in relationships because they're expecting so much from the other person. And it can be simple things like husband and wife. Wife is expecting the husband to clean certain things around the house for whatever reason. Yes, there could have been some type of agreement or talk about it, but when those expectations are not met, it creates an issue. However, the person getting mad in the situation is really a choice, honestly, because yes, someone might not do what they said they were going to do, but you have to realize just because they agreed on it, you never controlled their actions anyway. They were going to do what they were going to do regardless. And I know it's a hard concept for some people to grasp because we live our lives the other way around, where we live based on the expectations of others, what we expect others to do. And you really have to learn how to free your own mind from this. I may not be giving the best example since I'm just spitting off the top of my head, But hopefully you get the idea of what I'm trying to say. This is why when you do stuff for other people as well, it really does have to be out of love, not because you feel obligated. That way, you never feel entitled that the person has to give something back to you. If you do something and think, well, since I helped this person when they were down, they need to help me when I'm down. That's the way most people think. Realistically, they're not obligated to do that. And you have your entitlement of thinking so is what really ruins your relationships, because if somebody doesn't do exactly what you thought them to do, how do they know that they were supposed to do that beforehand if you never even told them? It'd be different if you had a conversation with them, and that's the key thing I'm bringing up. Let's say if, man, I'm helping you out right now, I hope one day that you could do the same for me. That would be the best way to bring it up. Like, man, I hope one day if I'm ever in a bad position, like I'm helping you get out of this financial position, one day maybe you could help me if I need it. And you notice I use the word hope because you still should not really expect it. You can only hope that they do it, and if they don't, you have to just let go of that idea of like, okay, I expected it. And this is in a lot of situations in life. The more you're able to let go of things, to not let them affect you mentally, you actually are freeing your own mind, because we really are torturing ourselves mentally in a lot of situations. Most times people are not really doing anything to you. It's just the way that you perceive their own actions, their own decisions. The way that you think about their actions is actually you mentally torturing yourself. Our minds literally control most of our emotions, not other people. It's really the way that you think about other people's actions. It's the way that you feel about other people's actions. Some of this is a choice, and until you realize that, people will have a little bit more control over you, or at least it will feel that way. And until you gain more control over yourself and your mind, you will have many situations where you will get very stressed out based on what someone else is doing. However, I'm telling you, there is another way to unlock another level in your brain to not allow it to affect you as much. It is going to happen, but you have more strength inside than you realize, and it really starts up top. It's coming from you. You have to learn how to let go of certain expectations from people, so that way when they don't live up to them, it does not affect you as devastatingly. And this is, like I said, romantic relationships, friendships, family, work. When you learn to do it in many different aspects of life, you will see a lot of improvement in your mental stability.